All right, girls. When using Desmos, you may, before you start, you're going to create an account like it says using Google, but you also may want to set the window, and you just use that little wrench in the upper right, and you can just literally click on it and ask it and just put in your numbers. I'm going to do it from -10 to 10. You might want to restrict it to like -20 to 20 or just something that's a little more manageable. Then you can get started putting in your equations. So you just click on a little line, and you're going to use the x and the y's down here. So we have y equals, and to get a slope, if you just do 5 divided by 6, it puts it in fraction form for you. Get out from underneath that fraction using a little arrow key over here. And we're going to put in x, plus 1. There it is. Now, in order to set your domain or your range, in order to make this a little snippet, you have to hit the ABC button in the lower left. And you're going to use fancy brackets. And that's the only way you can access them. And then we're just going to do an inequality. We're going to restrict it. I'm going to ask it to go from -5 to regular 5. So I might say I want to go from -5 less than or equal to, put your x in the middle, less than or equal to, and regular 5. And I put 25, yikes. 5. And it just cuts it off for you. If you needed to restrict the range, for example, if I have a vertical line like x equals -1, all right? It goes on forever and ever. You want to trim the y. Again, just go to your fancy brackets, and I'm just going to snip it any way I like. So maybe I want this one to go from -5 to 6. So I go back and I say I want to go from -5 less than or equal to, and I put a y because I'm going to restrict it that way, less than or equal to 6, and it snips it. It just makes it a little piece there. And finally, just so you know how to enter an absolute value, because you need to have 2 of those, there is a little absolute value button in the lower left. You can see a little A with the absolute value bars right here. Just click on that. I'm going to put a little X in there, and it makes that nice little V, and you just trim it any way you saw fit. If you want to know a super easy way to move these V's around, stick with me for a few more seconds. Otherwise, just get started on your project. Okay, for those of you who stuck around, awesome. What we're going to do is we're just going to learn some easy ways to do this. Anytime you have an absolute value of x and you just have something hanging out on the outside like +2, it just scooches it up 2. If you wanted the whole thing to move down 3, you would use a minus sign. And you just do -2 or -3, and it just moves it down. If you decided that you wanted to move sideways, you need to be inside there with the x, because x is a sideways movement. We want to be inside there, and it's the opposite of what you want to do. So if I do +3, I move 3 to the left. Think of it as what would it take to make it equal 0. And if you want to move to the right, likewise, you would just use a minus sign, and that'll move it. The only other thing you guys need to know, and some of you might remember this from last year with parabolas, if you have a minus in front, it makes it open down. So good luck with this. I'll be back. We have a whole project day on Friday where we can work on this, and we're going to extend this due date an extra day, so it won't be due until like Wednesday or Thursday next week. Good luck.